Alright, so a couple other subjects I haven't talked about. One is how I was actually able to build. For me, it's a thrill. Everybody else is just like par for the course, but of course, I'm just learning, so it's like, wow, I actually built the zlib library with symbols in it. That's one subject to talk about. Second one is actually had or other just administrative issues I'm going to have to deal with eventually to try to get some of these things into package source or something. I don't know what to do because I'm doing this for any interested party, not just, you know. I've mostly done the work to kind of fit it in there. There's still going to be a lot of work. There's a ton of patches. I uploaded some more packages, and I started to work through Ruby today, and got past the first linking stage, but I can't get past. Well, I have yet to get past. I just ran patience to get past the second linking stage. I'm also hoping to attempt a build of Qt4. I have an idea of what I need to do, but whether I'll get the patches straightened out back to where I was before. I'm going through an effort of unifying all the patches and just having them in one place, not spread out local patches. And you could say I probably should have put my patches in local patches, but it gets rather tedious when you have a package with over 40 patches that were already made by package source and over 100 that were made by Diger. I mean, that's not just patching, that's a porting effort. That was a lot of work that he's done, and I'm going to try my damn to get that thing built. And hopefully it'll be built and working well. And I haven't really gone back yet to redo shared memory on Cairo or Pango or Mesa or anything like that. I don't think I vaguely remember trying it, so I'm not even clear on that. Numbers wise, it's now going to be slow. I'll probably bag 20 or 30 a day. I've got 3 big categories to go through where I'm getting about 1 out of 3 I can build. It's just a matter of taking care of the header or the library network or whatever thing that we've stubbornly held on to our independence for. So zlib, and this could be important for package source. See, all you kind of do is say, hey, I'm noticing this stuff. It's like I'm in the middle of outer space, and I'm not a scientist, and I'm witnessing some kind of phenomenon that's going on. And there are people that are more knowledgeable about me, and all I could do is say, hey, this stuff's happening. I feel like there are going to be some other people that'll see this and think they're reading Lewis and Clark's journal from 100 years ago, pondering over what a bear is. But nonetheless, I'm just gonna say what I've observed. So what I've observed at the end of the day, and what I've discovered, is that at least for haiku, it doesn't seem to be an issue in NetBSD, and it may be by choice. I don't know, but when the Z libraries build, they build out symbols when you use the stock package source version of it. Now when I look at the package source make file, I don't see anything that says disable symbols. I don't, as far as I know or expected, package source downloads the source code and unzips it and, puts it in the source directory, and it, follows the make file and builds it. I mean, for the most part, if the software builds, the only thing that's really gonna that could really screw it up, perhaps, and there's nothing to do with zlib. I'll get off that. I'm not gonna say that. That's tangential. So then I looked at it a little more closely. I also went to Haiku Porter, and I did a build there, and then I did a read elf against it, and I saw that it had symbols, and I said, what the hell kind of magic are these guys doing? And actually, I still don't know what magic that is. But I kind of know what part of the ingredient is, and part of the ingredient seems to be, the difference is that Package Source wanted to use gmake, and Haiku Porter wanted to use cmake. So when I built with gmake, okay, that's one element. And then I looked in the Package Source directory. The Z libraries are under devel, and I actually learned something here. Actually, how to actually do magic. There's a magic steamroller feature in Package Source if you want to use it. Actually, so I didn't know that existed. I would have been using that a long time ago, and I probably wouldn't have learned much. But there actually is a feature. If you place files in a folder called Files in the Package Source directory, you could add something to the BSD make file to say, hey, do stuff with these files at a certain time. So it's going to enter the Z libraries. And how did I figure this out? I looked, there's this files folder, and I noticed there's this whole directory full of stuff. Now I've added this cmake list.txt file, modified it a bit, but I got it from Haiku Porter. I might have added a few other things from Haiku Porter and placed them in here. Not certain about that, but once I did that and I changed the setting, and I've done this with one of these config files because there's just too many of them. I think I have its under this one called compile tool. I just basically said, don't use library tool, use underscore cmake plus equals yes, and that was very hard to figure out. The documentation at the NetBSD website is very sparse. You still kind of have to figure out that you have to say use cmake. Or I might have gotten it from that page. It just wasn't clear for me for a little while how to actually do this. And then Package Source had its own package config override file called zlib.pc.in or something like that. And cmake was looking for zlib.pc, so of course I decided to change mine to zlib.pc. And if you have something in the make.conf file, it'll override the make file for the package that you use, which is, I just blew by right here. PC in, and cmake was looking for zlib.pc, so I ended up just placing those in this directory. And then modifying, I think I probably did modify part of the where'd the directory go? Oh, go way back. Alright, I modified part of the make file, which is probably over here in the solve directory. This will open. These are everything I've done something with. So I changed the package list. It wasn't even building it didn't have a shared library in the package list. I don't know why. It seemed to be I know it built one before, so it didn't seem to be a problem, but I modified that. Modified the make file so that I actually only, what's neat about this is where did my settings go? See where it says, no, that's it. See where it has substitute files.pc? That's one part of a substitute class's macro. And because this overrides this macro here, I didn't have to remake the whole thing. I just had to make that part. So it ended up, putting stuff in its places, and when it was done building, I ran a readelf against it, and it had symbols. I'm going to look in the work source directory one more time if I haven't deleted it yet, just to make sure I didn't copy additional files and I haven't put in the files folder, because that wouldn't be very good. Yeah. So yeah, there are some things I need to do here. First of all, zlib doesn't really ship with cmake. Cmake is something that doesn't really get auto-generated. It kind of doesn't really count as source in the strictest sense. In fact, I got up here. Yeah, okay. So here. I really have to wonder if I've got everything here. But I noticed when I looked in the haiku porter directory and I compared it to what was in the package source directory, there were additional files in the haiku porter directory. Don't know what that means. And then getting back to this other thing, this files directory, that was populated when I unzipped package source. I didn't actually download, the source I was using wasn't downloaded into this directory at the time I, typed bmake install, and then didn't unzip immediately from that dist file. And I don't think. Instead, it just came with package source and was moved out. But I really don't think that a cmake list comes with, I'm not sure about that. I have to do a ton of research to really know exactly every little nuance to this whole story. But I provided everything that I thought was necessary to build in this solve directory. I loaded it up, so there's a bunch of quasi-source, basically it's cmake is good. I like cmake a lot better than the auto tools, because the auto tools, you may even know exactly what you want to link against and what you want the make file to end up being, but getting the make file to end up the way you want it to be sometimes is a real pain in the ass. This is what I'm going through with Ruby. But as far as so cmake, you can just edit it after it's been configured and change the variables to what you want to link with. It's great. I like it. Works very well, and seems to work faster. So that's the story. Basically, right now, as the situation is, at least if you're using Haiku, and I don't know if this is true of other platforms, can't speak to that. You actually, if you want to build the Z libraries with package source and have them have symbols in it, so you don't have problems later on when some of the stuff that you've built, and it's the exact same version that's in Haiku, by the way, of Z libraries. The stuff that you build that doesn't have symbols tries to link with the stuff that has symbols, and all of a sudden you get this, minus phone number error. At least that's how I've experienced it. I think it happens under other circumstances, perhaps. Starting to get that idea. I've built a lot of packages. Basically, the only two times I ever see a unresolved symbol with a minus 214 or 747, whatever it is one, when the system doesn't actually have a feature you're trying to link into a program. For some reason, the program, like shared memory. I don't think the system supports shared memory, but I had stubbornly built shared memory into Cairo because it asked for it. because it stubbornly asked for it. And I wanted to build Cairo, and I built it into Mesa and those other things. But when I got to Pango, it said, "Nope, sorry, you don't have it." But it would mention a specific function that I immediately recognized. Oh, those are functions that are in the shared memory header. Other times I'll see actual, when the undefined reference comes up, it'll actually say the file name and the undefined reference function. Okay. The third time is a little more dubious. It's when you're building stuff without, the zlib doesn't have, this is what I've seen. Okay, so when the zlib doesn't have any symbols in it, as it was building in package source, and then the package you just built wants to link with some other package that has symbols, and another package that doesn't have symbols, it goes undefined reference and goes, sorry. So even though that may be a very good version, it just doesn't have the symbols, and I'm not even sure what the symbols mean all that much, actually. I don't know if they're signatures or they're actually the way information gets passed between a library and a binary. Anyway, so right now, if you want to build zlib with symbols, and you pretty much have to in haiku, and I don't see why the other platforms wouldn't use symbols unless it's just too troublesome. Don't know. I doubt that's the case. Most of them probably do use the symbols. But if you do, then you're gonna have to get some more files and add it to the files directory there in package source, or you can just use my files and my settings and stuff like that. Basically, I've got them in the replacement files folder. So that was important about so that's resolved with Ruby. The initial error was it would try to link up and make Ruby needs to build a smaller mini Ruby before it's able to build the big Ruby. Okay, and when the mini Ruby tried to link up, what would happen is that you get this error. It says operation not allowed. The first thing I think, oh god, operation not allowed. This is some kind of hard link thing. Then I tried messing with the hard links. Let's turn them on. Let's turn them off. None of that did anything. Then I finally realized it was probably something with the make file. So then I did a configure outside of package source, and then I saw that one happened to place on the LD shared variable. It decided it wanted to place $ in parentheses LD space minus shared. And then when I added that, and I also added library root, but I had to hard path library root into the make file, it decided to go past that first stage, but then it started not knowing what to link to when it was moving on to making the shared libraries for Ruby. I've tried all sorts of things to try to get Ruby to actually create a makefile the way I want it to turn out. And the problem is you need that, because the makefile ends up, once it's initially made, it doesn't just make one copy, it makes like 6 or 7 copies all over the place. And so if you edit the makefile after configure's done, well, one makefile is okay, but the rest of them aren't. It's this huge tree of source, and it's a mess. So, and I've even seen code in the configure files that tries to place the variables that I want to get in that makefile in the right place, but it just isn't able to for some reason. So now I get to mess around with the settings, see whether the lib tool shared or unshared, or a bunch of things to go over. So I wanted to talk about those two things. That's where I'm at. If I get Ruby built, and I have a good chance, but it's probably gonna take me another day to figure the damn thing out. Then I'll get a lot more builds. If I'm able to actually successfully go back now and So earlier, maybe about 4 or 5 presentations ago, I said the first thing you should do is go grab haiku zlib and place it in the place of package sources. Well, now I'm saying the first thing you should do is make sure you build the Z libraries with symbols, or just don't bother at all. And to do that, you need to use CMake, as far as I know. At least I had success with that. And you have to have a bunch of extra files and directories inside the source directory. And I don't know where this stuff's coming from and who made it or why, but if it's just sourced from the Z libraries place and package source has the wrong source or not enough source or more things need to be done to the Z, I don't know. But anyway, that's the state of things as they are right now. Now, getting back to package source, I have over 1,000 patches. A lot of them are one-liners. Some of them are not going to be compatible with what they call portable. I know like 1%. My patches are going to interfere with the patches other people have made. At this stage, I'm still wondering whether I'm going to. There's a lot of I know there's a lot of relatively easy ports that still remain. I know that the patch count could probably go up another couple hundred over time. And I know that modifications to make files and package lists and settings and things like that is going to grow fairly large. So by the time I show up at package source, it's going to be this giant mother load. The idea of me being able to go now and communicate with all the different, projects that are out there that exist or don't exist, it's like saying, okay, well, you've scaled Mount Everest, now it's time for you to walk to the moon or something like that. It's going to take a lot of effort to get these things into package source long term. So the only real strategy I could follow is just to keep up with package source, get things slowly and in swallowable portions merged into package source. I haven't even had the time to even start communicating with people on the package. I haven't even signed up for the package source mailing list, because I know there's always a few more that I could get. This is like death by 1,000 little gnats or something. I mean, most of the patches they're small, or it's just a library, or just something else. So it's a big thing. Maybe in about 6 months I could start talking to people how I could actually get these patches into package. I don't even know, and some of these projects don't exist anymore. So anyway, that's I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Oh my god. And then if I had to make more recipes, I would probably die in this chair. I'd probably hit my last keyboard button and die, because it wouldn't be that long, but it would take another 6 months to make recipes out of all these of the packages that aren't in Haiku Porter, but they're in the recipes. Sorry, they're in Haiku Porter. They're not in. They're in package source and Haiku Porter. Most of the patches are fairly portable. I would say that it's less common if I have 1% of the time that my patches are gonna interfere with somebody else's patches. I would say that a third of that, so like 1/3 of a percent. I mean, very, very small. Can't be used in Haiku ports. Most of them can be used in Haiku Porter ports. It's a matter of just getting them in there, which is going to take way too much effort. But it would be nice to know that we have 6,000 POSIX apps that we can actually at least build and see how they work, and maybe get them built better if they don't work well, or be happy that they work if they do. So at least the ball's rolling, and as I said before, one of my goals was to at least get us in a position where we can get all the way up to the point where we're just right at the edge of being able to build what we want to build, fixing and polishing up the path to that, you know, goal, if it's possible. You know, I don't. Again, shared memory, I don't know if it's supported. If it isn't by the kernel, then are we going to work on it? What's the plan? If we're not going to work on it, then what's the point? Don't know. So anyway, that's the state of things right now. I'm just going through the jungle and whacking down as many weeds as I can as fast as I can, and I'm trying to be. Sometimes I can't be going. There's too many for me to go at a slow pace to be. Oh, okay. Well, we have to put an if-def here. You know, I'm not Mr. Studious. So if someone wants to take the time and make it super IT polished, they can. Right now, they're designed to work in haiku, and if I had to, they're designed to work in package source. They're all designed to work in package source, but I'd say 98% of them are going to work in haiku no matter what toolset you use, even if you don't use a toolset. Alright, so that's my deal.